Lesson 12, Part 1, the perfect tense. Let's go over an overview of verb tenses again and get really well into our heads exactly what is going on. We've already seen that in Greek and English, verb tenses such as present, imperfect, or aorist don't just show time, they also show aspect. A verb's tense represents the time when an action happens. A verb's aspect represents the kind of action that happens. So in English, we have three tenses and three basic aspects. Our tenses are past, which are things that have happened before now, present, things happening now or always, and future, things that will happen at a later time. Our three aspects are simple, no specific kind of action or frequency mentioned. Progressive, an action that occurs over time, or perfect, an action that is completed. From these three tenses and three aspects, we have 9 basic forms of our verb. All 9 of these are often called English's verb tenses for simplicity's sake. So simple past, I talked. Simple present, I talk. Simple future, I will talk. Past progressive, I was talking. Present progressive, I am talking. Future progressive, I will be talking. Past perfect, I had talked. Present perfect, I have talked. Future perfect, I will have talked. For right now, we're going to be concerned with this present perfect form. And then soon as we learn the pluperfect in a couple lessons from now, we'll be looking at the past perfect form. Now notice how the simple tenses don't tell you much about the action. They just state that the action takes place. The progressive tenses, however, give a feeling of some duration, that this action didn't happen at a specific point in time, but that it took a little while. The perfect tenses are used to show that an action was already completed when another action takes place. So consider the following diagrams. All right, so just take a moment, pause the video, take a look at what's going on here, and then we'll sort of go through some descriptions which are written over to the right-hand side. But go ahead and pause the video and take a look at it, see what you think it means. All right, so this diagram shows that the 3 main kinds of verb tenses with their 3 aspects. All the things that are in green are in the past. You can see here past. All things that are in red are in the present. All things that are in purple are in the future. This particular diagram focuses, or the diagram that we're going to see in a minute focuses on aspects. But here we're looking at time periods. All of our past tenses, we got a past perfect, a past progressive, and a simple past. Here we have all of our present tenses, which is a present perfect, a present progressive, and a simple present. Then we have all of our future progressive, or sorry, future tenses. We have our future perfect, our future progressive, and our simple future. Now, in this diagram, you can see the aspects of each tense. The dots in orange are simple. They just state that an event occurs in the past or in the present or in the future. There's no specificity as to when. It's just indicated as some point in time. The blue arrows are progressive. They show that an event happens over time. So in the present, I am going. It's in the process of happening right now. In the future, I will be going. It starts at some point in time in the future. Now, no, it's not like if this says, a year from now or a day from now. It's just some generic point in time in the future. It starts and it's going for some point in time, and eventually it will end as well. In the past, I was going. In the past, this action took place. It did end some point in time before now, but the aspect we're bringing out is that this action was ongoing. Now, the question marks in pink are perfect. They show that an event happens at some unspecified time before the tense that is being talked about. Now, there's no arrow going on here because it's not like I had been going. English actually does that. It does have that feature. It's called a perfect progressive. We are not talking about that right now. This is just a perfect, not a perfect progressive, just perfect. Some point in time back here had gone. I don't know if it's here or here or here or here or here or here or here, but before an action takes place in the past, this was already completed at some point in time. That's why there's a line of finality here. It was done before we got to this. So for example, let's say this was you went instead of I went. I had already gone to the store by the time that you went to the store. This was already done before this event happened. The idea is completion. Here we have the same thing going on in the present. As it relates to right now, I have gone. I don't know when that action happened. Could have been a long time ago, but it's completed as it relates to right now. Now notice this looks or sounds, if you're not really good at your verb tenses and you haven't really studied this before, this sounds like a past tense. I have gone. Because the action did actually happen in the past, but it's a present perfect because as it relates to this present moment right here, the action is completed as it relates to right now. Whereas a past perfect is this action was completed before this past action happened. So I had gone. You'll notice the had goes with the past, have or has goes with the present. Have or has is a present word, had is a past word, so that helps out. In the future, I will have gone. I don't know when that's going to happen, but at some point in time before this future action, the going will have already happened. I will have already gone. Now, normally it will have happened sometime between the present and the future, but it could have happened in the past and you just weren't aware that it's already happened. But normally speaking, it'll happen between when you're talking and some point in time in the future. All right, I've already said some of what goes on this side, but we're going to run through it again, make sure we've got this in our head. All right, so for example, a present perfect verb happens at some point in time before the present. I have won the competition means that as it regards right now, the action is already completed. But we don't know when I did it. It could have been a year, a month ago, a year ago. If I said when I was 7, at this point in time in the past when I was 7, I had already won a gold medal, that would mean that at a specific time in the past when I was 7, this action had already previously been completed at some unspecified point in time before I was 7. This is past perfect. If I said when I am 30, I will already have won 3 gold medals. That would mean that at a specific point in time in the future, when I will be 30, the action will have already previously been completed at some unspecified point in time before I became 30. Now, as I mentioned before, students get confused about the present perfect because it is the present perfect, but the action is already completed. What is very important to realize is that it is present perfect because at this present time, the action is already completed. A past perfect means that at some time in the past, the action was already completed. All right, now let's look at this concept in Greek. Greek has 6 main verb tenses, which include both tense and aspect. So aorist is a simple past, imperfect is a past progressive, pluperfect, we're going to get to soon, that's a past perfect. So that is coming up, but we're not talking about this one yet. Also notice imperfect, same as in, same meaning as like not. That prefix that you've probably seen on lots of things before. So this is the not perfect tense. It's the past progressive. So don't let that one confuse you there. That literally is called the not perfect tense. Pluperfect is past perfect. Present progressive, we're used to that one. Perfect in Greek is going to be a present perfect. We differentiate between present and past perfect by calling them perfect and pluperfect. We don't say present perfect in Greek. Future is the simple future. And you'll notice there's no future perfect listed here. There is a way to do a future perfect in Greek, but it's pretty weird. And it only shows up like, I don't know, like maybe 5 times in the whole New Testament. Very, very rare. So if you see something unusual going on and it happens to be one of these, you're going to have to probably look it up somewhere anyway. So just look it up when you run into one of those and you'll go, oh, this is a crazy future perfect thing. All right, so perfect tense in Greek. The perfect tense in Greek is the present perfect tense. One concept, though, that Greek adds to this is the perfect tense indicates a completed action with this little bit of a feel of ongoing results because this action was already completed. This can be especially important in understanding doctrine in the Bible. Our salvation is a completed action with ongoing results. So anytime you see something like you have been saved, it's not just that you were saved and yay, that's something that Jesus did to you in the past. It's like, no, Jesus saved you. And there's all this stuff that's still happening because this action was completed in the past with these ongoing results. English doesn't have that part to the perfect aspect, but Greek does. Really cool. So God saved us at a point in time in the past, but the results of that salvation continually affect us. God has saved us. Here's an example in Greek: for the kingdom of God has come near. If we wanted to just say that it happened at some point in time in the past, we could say for the kingdom of heaven came near. But there's some ongoing results of this kingdom having come near to us. And so it's in the perfect to show that there's just this little extra bit of there's some ongoingness. Now, of course, can't bring this across into English, but when you're studying the Bible, or when you're going to teach or preach the Bible, this can be incredibly awesome to pull this little aspect out as you're teaching. Your faith has saved you. Ongoing results. We will translate the perfect with have or has with a past participle, such as have gone, have walked, or has taken. So summary: a verb's tense represents the time when an action happens. A verb's aspect represents the kind of action that happens. The perfect aspect indicates an action that is complete. The present perfect indicates that at this present time, the action is already completed. In Greek, the perfect tense corresponds to the English present perfect. And in Greek, the perfect tense indicates a completed action with ongoing results. We'll translate the perfect with have or has with a past participle.